welcome. This is Culturally Distinct Sports. I'm your host, Jess. I've got Jay Mitchell.
Good day,
What's
good day,
up?
good day. What's happening?
My other host, I've got Troy.
What's up, world?
What's going on, fellas? We in the building.
Yes.
We in the building.
We
in the building.
Back in the building. Shit, we've been out of here for a while.
Yes. So I got to get in your little I got to get in your personal lives just a little bit at the beginning of the show. You got to give the viewers something.
Okay.
They care.
Yeah.
They care. Maybe they don't, but I care.
I didn't do much, man. I had a soccer game yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daughter soccer game?
Coach Williams.
Or were you?
Of course.
Yeah, you were reffing?
Damn right. No, not reffing.
Coaching.
Coaching. Oh, so we done moved on from the reffing to now the coaching.
Coaching.
Hey, when your kids are playing, you got to be involved.
Okay.
I got 8-year-old girls, 9-year-old girls. It's going to be interesting.
Uh-huh.
I found my first, I got one little brat. I got one little athlete. I got one little, I got a little everything. I saw some everything on day one. Tears and
Is
laughs.
your daughter on this team?
Yeah.
Okay, how does she feel about Dad being the coach?
She said, Dad, I thought you weren't gonna coach my team this year, Dad. I was like, well, I didn't have a choice, Skylar. No one else wanted to step up, so it's either Dad or no soccer. So
Yeah.
she's
Well,
cool with it.
Good. She's at that
Congratulations.
age where it's probably still okay.
Yeah, it's cool now.
It ain't gonna be.
Yeah, it's cool now. Now she brags about it. My dad is a coach and that type of stuff. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I like it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jay Mitchell, we over here to you.
Kind of the same thing. I know we talked right before it started. I was busy. My daughter plays volleyball now, so she had a mid-season tournament. Took her to that, and then my son, he was on first day playing flag football.
Nice.
And he had a good time. And like Troy, but I got out of coaching.
Yeah.
I got out of it, but I just had a good time just watching him. First time playing. He actually scored twice yesterday. Only touched the ball 3 times.
Nice.
So I was like, hey, man. Proud papa out there, tear.
That's right.
But, other than that, just busy. Yesterday was a busy day. Long, but we're here, and we're here to have a good time. So
That we
How about you?
are. Oh,
you can't be excluded.
And I work too. So
Okay.
in my other life, I'm a real estate agent.
Okay.
And so I have a client who needed to see a house, and the market that we're in, houses go very quickly.
Yeah.
So, I
Real
was
quick.
organizing that and, deadlines. And so, yeah, it was, like you said, can't complain, but definitely it was pressure yesterday.
Absolutely.
My neighbor's house was on the market for 1 day, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Put the house up for sale. Next day, they had a cash offer.
Yeah, that's how it
Gone.
goes.
Gone.
I like
That's
it.
how it goes. So if you are a seller, definitely, you can move tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to jump into this sports stuff. And our first story is actually really serious. In Capitol Hill this week, the Olympic gymnasts were testifying about the Larry Nassar investigation that the FBI did. And I don't know if you fellas had any opportunities to watch any clips or anything. Simone Biles, Michaela Maroney, Maggie Nichols, they all gave their testimony on Capitol Hill as to what they experienced and what they went through. And let me summarize it because there's a lot to this story. Basically, they're saying that the FBI minimized at best. To be honest, there's a stronger word.
Yeah.
Do y'all have another word for it? Like, I wouldn't even say minimized.
Ignored.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All of their warnings when they came and talked to them, they kind of dismissed them.
Yep.
These Olympic athletes. So now it's all coming to surface, and now the FBI is under fire for how they handled this, and I think they should be.
Yep.
There's lots of experts. Again, I'm trying to condense this all because there's so much to it. There's lots of experts saying that it is time the gymnast culture shifts. And because they've been saying they are, but the reality is it has not happened like it needs to.
Yeah. Did you see the new FBI director, Christopher Wray? Well, Christopher Wray was there, and when he was testifying, he was trying to apologize. Granted, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there, right?
During that time, So it's kind of unfortunate that he has to come out there and face it and sort of speak on behalf of, you know, his predecessors. But that's a nasty situation. You know, I don't understand the motivation behind trying to cover up for someone that's molesting little girls.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what it was, right? We're talking about teenage girls that were being taken advantage of by a grown man. And no one steps up to the plate to put a stop to that. Like, they could have been stopped a long time ago. This is not new news. It's unfortunate, man. I don't know what to say about that. Everyone involved back then in the FBI should be ashamed of themselves. Someone should be held accountable. I don't know who, I don't know how, but it's a sad story.
Yeah, and I think, to your point, Troy, the craziest part for me is that, and this was the testimony, I listened to it with my own ears on TV. They said all of the adults that were told, nobody did anything.
Yeah. Nothing.
Every single adult that was told about him. It's a tough pill to swallow.
It's
What do you do as a dad? You know, I have a daughter. You have a daughter. You have a daughter.
3.
Like what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, if my daughter was 15, 16 years old, she's training for the Olympics. She has Olympic talent, but knowing that, you know, her team doctor is, you know,
Feeling on
doing a little
you
bit
and-
more than examining. Like, how do you react to that as a dad?
I w-
Like, what's stopping you from pulling up? Like they used to say, pull up. Yeah, I'm pulling up on you, doc. Like, what's up with that?
I'm not laughing at the act. I'm laughing at because there would be no boundary.
None.
There would be no boundary. To your point, first, it's horrible. And I think her name was Tulsi Gabbard. She came on, and her question was so powerful. She said, "What is a little girl's worth and value?"
Yeah.
As a parent, it's unfortunate. The parents and students are put in this situation. Morally, I couldn't stand for it. Getting to your question, what do you do as a parent? This child has Olympic hopeful talent or Olympic talent. You may not want to believe it.
Yeah.
You may not want to believe it as a parent because
Yes.
you know for your time that your child has worked so hard. I'm not saying it's right, but it's just like you don't want to believe it. It could be, like they stated, turn the blind eye. You're right there.
Yeah.
Come on, maybe you're overreacting. And the child is suffering. You know what I'm saying? As a parent, your moral compass has to come in sooner or later. Because I tell my kids all the time, and I put this on air and I don't care what anyone says, I don't care what you're going through. Tell me. If we got to give somebody a dirt nap, that's what we're going to do. We'll talk about that later.
Damn right.
But let me know what's happening, because that's the support I'm going to give you. I'm no different than any other parents out there. It's so unfortunate, especially in a lot of these young ladies' cases, because like they said, the FBI, I think the word they used was derelict. And so in doing that, so it's just ignored
Yep.
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
So they're shattered, you know, and we know, not personally, but the effects are just long lasting. So
It's tough.
yeah, I hope
Yeah.
he doesn't. I hope he
Yeah.
gets the justice he deserves, which is none.
I'd rather have the conversation with my child later on about why I stifled her Olympic dreams,
You would have to,
as opposed to why I allowed this man to do what he did to you.
Absolutely.
because I would cut his fingers off.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I mean that would be.
Yeah. And in some countries they do
Yes,
that,
they
and
do
it's
that,
it's
right.
allowed.
It's
so,
allowed.
Jackie,
I'm serious. Like
I
I'm
know,
sorry.
I know. I
man.
feel you. As a mom, I'm a mom, and I'm not a man, and I'm coming after him with everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean,
that.
even thinking about it just enrages
it
me.
makes my skin crawl, and it brings. It's a different anger.
Mhm.
It's a different anger. So I, for all the parents and all the young ladies that went through that, you can only empathize and sympathize. But just hopefully the parents understand the pain of not trust.
It's a big lesson.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to move on to so if we have this new segment that we brought in. I want our viewers to know, Jackie and Troy, they go back and forth all the time off air. You just don't, well, on air too, but y'all just don't see it. So we figured, you know what? We're going to bring this more on camera.
Let's go.
So this is our new debate segment.
Let's go. What we
J
talking about?
versus T.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bring it in.
So let's see. We got this debate that y'all sent me that y'all want to talk about. Mm-hmm. Warren Moon is the only black quarterback in the NFL.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
Right.
So the debate today is, should the following former quarterbacks be in or out? And you know what? I'm not prepared. You know what would have been fun?
What's that?
We should have had in-out cards.
In out?
I just thought about it.
Okay. You can bring them next week.
time.
Bring him next week.
In or out.
This won't be the last.
Yeah. It won't.
So y'all got a list, and we're going to go through that list.
All right.
And we're going to give your 2 cents.
Who we
And
starting with?
each quarterback gets a 2 minutes. Okay. Minute
2
piece.
minutes?
Yeah, y'all only get a minute. There's a lot of quarterbacks on this
It's
list.
okay. Troy made it.
All right. That's fine.
I'm ready.
All right. We're going with Steve Mcnair first.
Steve Mcnair. All right. You want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's fine. I'll go first. So Steve Mcnair is probably, I was a little bit on the fence with Steve. But I'll say this. When we're talking about these former black quarterbacks and whether or not they're worthy of being in the Hall of Fame, I think the only way to do that is sort of compare them to people that are already there.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers-wise, I think McNair is there. You know, Troy Aikman has 33,000 passing yards. Steve Young has 33,000 passing yards. McNair has 31,000 passing yards. Numbers-wise, he's there.
Mm-hmm.
He's a former league MVP. In my mind, he's probably about a football length away from being a lock for the Hall of Fame. Because the only thing that he doesn't have that most other Hall of Fame QBs have is a Super Bowl win.
Does Warren Moon?
No.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Right.
No.
It's only one.
Most. I said
it's only
most.
one.
I said most. Dan
Right.
Fouts doesn't have one. Dan Marino doesn't have
Right.
one. You know, there are others that don't have one, but most of them do.
Right.
I'm saying if he had that, he would be a lock. We're having this debate because he doesn't have that Super Bowl victory.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like talent-wise,
Mm-hmm.
the talent that you see around some of these former black quarterbacks doesn't compare to what you saw on other teams.
Correct.
That may not necessarily be true for Steve McNair. You know, he had Eddie George. I feel like he had a Hall of Fame worthy career.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't pull up like the Dan Marino type numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of his production sort of came under the radar because he had a running game.
Mm-hmm.
Burnt. Sorry, time's up.
Time's up.
I gotta be fair.
Okay, that's fine. You can be fair. So with that said, I say McNair should be in, not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but eventually I think we see Steve McNair in the Hall of Fame. Yes.
I would agree. I think he deserves to be in there because he was pretty much someone who came out from Alcorn Straight, HBCU spotlight.
Yeah.
But once again, when you look at talent-wise, he was probably easily, besides Michael Vick, to me, and Randall Cunningham, he was probably the most athletic quarterback to me that I had seen of his era. I agree with you. I think he belongs, and I hate to bring this up. One of the reasons why I think it's stymied that he won't get in is what happened prior to his passing.
Maybe.
You see what I'm saying? They're looking at that like, how can we have someone's tarnish, whatever, here? But it's been other guys that's been put in who had, not so off the field good antics, and decisions. And that's something he couldn't control, So for whatever reason, I hope that he gets in. I will agree with you. I feel that he needs. His numbers are right there. And during his time, he played with so many injuries, and he put it on the line,
Every year
he was banged up, So once again, going back to what we said a few weeks ago, giving him the line, giving him the protection. He had Eddie George. He had the tight end. He had Dyson as a receiver. So I think he belongs. I would agree with that.
He has the numbers. He has the wins. Doesn't have the Super Bowl victory. But I say McNair gets in.
So he's in. He's in.
I would say yes.
All right. Next, Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham. So, Randall Cunningham, I don't necessarily see any reason why not. Okay, the guy has close to 30,000 career passing yards. His QB rating over his career is over 80. Also, what he did, he was the first real scrambling quarterback that I actually got to watch with my own two eyes. He was very talented with his legs. His arm talent was there as well. He was also an MVP winner, won MVP in 1990, which is also one thing that we look at when it comes to these Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Similar to Mcnair, he doesn't have that Super Bowl. He doesn't even have a Super Bowl appearance. Doesn't have a Super Bowl appearance. Doesn't have the numerous All-Pros. But as far as victories, as far as numbers, I would say I would put him in the same category with Mcnair. Probably a little bit lower than Mcnair, but eventually I think we see Randall Cunningham get in. It's been a while. He's already, I don't know how far removed he is from being eligible. But I feel like the closest that he came to actually winning was in 1998. He lost an NFC Championship game, which is the furthest he ever made it when it comes to the playoffs. But as far as wins, as far as numbers, and how he sort of brought his athleticism into play when it comes to NFL quarterbacks, I put him in. Eventually, he goes in. Randall Cunningham in. Steve McNair in.
I'm kind of torn because he was the first. What's the word they like to use? He was the versatile quarterback.
Yeah,
because he could throw, he could scramble, but also he could punt.
And he could punt.
You
He did do that.
he punted. No. So for me, it's right there. It's really right there. And I apologize. It goes to the people that he had around him. He was a great talent, you know. He could do everything, you know. And then when he got to Minnesota, he had the Randy Moss. So with him gaining those individuals, I think it's going to be tough. One, because he's been so far removed. I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah.
But I think he's right on the fence. Honestly, he's like right on the fence, and only because of how he played the game. He wasn't a rah-rah person. You know, he's big in his faith. So in reference to him being there, stat-wise, he's like right there.
Nope, Jackie.
He's
Gotta
right
go with
there.
In or out.
No, I don't think he's going to make it.
Okay.
No.
I don't think he's going to make it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. In and out, I say out.
Okay.
As much as I would like to, I just say out because they would have done it by now.
Okay, so we're 1-1 right now.
Out.
We're moving on to Doug Williams.
Oh. Got him! Doug. Okay, so just real quick, no. I'm going to say no. Off top, no, Doug doesn't belong. So we know Doug as being the first African-American quarterback to win the Super Bowl. No. The first African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Only.
The first to win a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl MVP. Very deserving of that award. If you remember that game, it was a blowout. He threw for 340 yards, 4 touchdowns. Very much deserving of that Super Bowl. He started his career in Tampa. Come to Tampa Bay, I can give you Steve DeBerg, Steve Young, Doug Williams. Only 3 Tampa Bay football players that I can name prior to the Tony Dungy era. Saying that to say, when he first got into the league, he was playing with, you know, an expansion team that wasn't winning a lot of games.
Running for his life.
Still managed to go to the playoffs twice. But just numbers-wise, he just doesn't have it. I mean, simple as that. He wasn't a starter his entire career.
Correct.
Toward the end of his career in Washington, of course, he had that Super Bowl run. So he has some highlights throughout his career. I think he's definitely worthy of being mentioned as one of the best. But numbers wise, he just doesn't have it. You know, Doug Williams reminds me of I think he was like the predecessor to Cam Newton, just a humongous man with a crazy arm and you know the athleticism and strength to run through linebackers if he needed to.
Right.
But is he Canton worthy? No, I can't give him that. As much respect and love that I have for Doug, I just don't think he has the numbers.
Well, Jackie, what's your take?
I agree. I really agree.
He's out.
So he's out.
Unanimously.
Unanimously. And it's unfortunate, like you said, he was a trendsetter. You know, he's, like I said, won a Super Bowl. Out of all the players that we're going to speak about, he's the only one that has a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, but like you said, numbers wise, he's just too far down. You know, I think he's right at only 17,000.
Yep.
Like career
yards.
So
That's right.
Yeah.
you got guys where like Drew Brees got 80,000 yards.
Mhm.
80,000 yards.
Yeah, if you're not clutching 30,000
30,
passing
30 or
yards,
more.
you-
30 or more.
yeah,
You know, so yeah, I say he's out. He's on the curb. But,
Okay.
yeah.
So we moving on.
move.
Donovan McNabb.
So I'll go again. So Donovan McNabb, I'll say this. I hope I'm not being biased, but Donovan McNabb was easily one of my favorite players in the league early 2000s.
Look, I like how Troy's like, I hope I'm not being biased. Let's
Hope
just
not
say
being biased,
you
yeah.
are being.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right. So throughout his career,
Mhm.
okay, his whole career, with the exception of those few years in Washington at the end, I don't even count those. But we're talking a top 10 quarterback
In the league.
Yep. His whole career.
Yep.
Okay. He went to 5 consecutive NFC Championship games.
Yep.
All right. Unfortunately, he only got to 1 Super Bowl, but he went to the NFC title game 5 years in a row with essentially no talent around him.
None.
At one point in time, the best probably tandem of receivers was Brian Westbrook and who was a running back. I can't remember the other guy's name who was playing receiver. Thrash.
You had
James Thrash and
Todd
Brian
Pinkston.
Westbrook.
Yeah,
Todd Pinkston.
Yeah, James Thrash.
There's no Hall of Fame talent around
Freddie
Donovan
Mitchell.
McNabb. I can't
Everybody.
name anyone that he's played football with that's going to the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
So he's the only person that's actually done this with no. There's no other Hall of Fame QB in the Hall of Fame right now that didn't have a number 1 wide receiver. Donovan McNabb did not have a number 1 wide receiver until he got Terrell Owens.
Mhm.
So numbers wise, he's absolutely there. You compare him to people like Jim Kelly.
Mhm.
Numbers wise, he has just as many yards, just as many playoff wins,
Rating, everything.
ratings, everything.
Yep.
Okay, but Jim Kelly's there. He was there, no question. No one is arguing that. Jim
Nobody's
Kelly
there.
went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and got his ass kicked 4 times. Well, excuse me, 3 of those 4 times he got blown out, pummeled. Okay, so if you compare him to guys that are there, he's more than worthy. I think the one thing that's keeping him out, he doesn't have a league MVP. I don't even think he has any All Pros. I don't even think he's ever made the NFL All Pro team.
Mhm.
That's partially because of the people who were in the league during that time. He's, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Brett Favre. I can see why he didn't make any All Pro teams. But the fact that he has no All Pros, doesn't have a league MVP, doesn't have a Super Bowl victory, most people that are in the Hall of Fame have one of those. He doesn't have.
least.
He doesn't have any of them.
Right.
So I think that's what's keeping him out. But in my opinion, is he worthy? Absolutely. Donovan McNabb should be a lock in my mind. He should have went this year when he was eligible.
All right.
Yes. In.
Okay.
All the way.
I was waiting for your answer. Just waiting for that. It's hard for me to say this. Out.
Okay. Give us your reasons.
He's out.
Give us your
I'm gonna
reasons.
say out. As you just stated, when you're dealing with the NFL, when you're dealing with how they rank, you have to have some accolade in their eyes to be in their Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
If he never had it, like you said, numbers wise, I think he's like 37,000 yards of passing, career. He has it, but he did not win anything.
Yep.
Like, as crazy as that sounds, as well as you played, you did not win in their eyes at their level. Unfortunately, latter part of his career as well, he went through some bouts with the teams. They said he was lazy. They said he was not in shape. It was his contract thing, then the Campbell soup thing, and it was just off the field thing, and then the boat thing. So
lots of things.
It's a lot of
going
things.
on.
It was a
Lots
lot of things. So, like I said, numbers wise, I think, yeah, he deserves it, but I say out. And I'm a Donovan McNabb fan, and the crazy part about it, I played with him in Philadelphia. So I saw it. Great, great, great competitor, great person, but I say out.
Okay. That's your second out. And last but not least, Michael Vick.
Michael Vick. So this one's actually kind of easy for me. That's Michael Vick out. Okay, and really what sold me on that is he said himself he didn't feel like he's done enough. He said that himself, his own words. I don't feel like I've done enough to be worthy of making it to the Hall of Fame. But Michael Vick, he's like the Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan of the NFL. Truly revolutionized the game. The game has evolved the way it's evolved because of guys like Michael Vick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Michael Vick is the only NFL quarterback that I've ever seen that I can truly say you can put this guy at any skill position on this field and he'll be successful. He can play safety, cornerback, wide receiver, running back. I don't care what it is. He was that dynamic of an athlete. When he gets the ball in his hands and he takes off running, you don't know what's going to happen. But we've never seen that type of athleticism from the quarterback position until Michael Vick got there. On top of his athleticism, his arm talent was insane. He could throw the ball what felt like the length of the football field on the run. So his talent was there. I just don't think he has the numbers. He didn't have the wins. I think his overall record was 61-51 or something like that as a starter.
Right.
So Michael Vick just simply doesn't have the numbers. But his legacy and what he's left the game with, I think, will forever be stitched in history. So he's definitely not one that we'll forget about. But Michael Vick, he's had 6,000 yards rushing, 36 touchdowns, by far eclipsing anyone else that's in the Hall of Fame. The next closest person, I think, is Randall Cunningham. He probably took his record a long time ago.
Right.
But Michael Vick, in short, he's out.
All right.
I have to agree. Like, out. But like you said, I was literally watching Michael Vick highlights. You forget how fast, how accurate, and how good this guy really, really was. Like, as Troy said, it revolutionized the position because you can't spy him. You can't. Your ends, like, if he got outside the pocket, you might as well go ahead and cancel Christmas. It's, you know, it's one of those things that I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Never in my years of living seen someone move that fast with the ball, that accurate, that strong. But he was also tough. You know, it took a lot of hits, playing in Atlanta. You know, so I said, I agree, out.
Out.
All right. So there you go. We got, with you, 3 outs and 2 outs.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
I got 2 out. I think we agreed on Michael Vick and Doug Williams.
Yeah.
Randall Cunningham, I got in.
And this didn't involve a drink, Jackie. So there is no
drinks.
bets, no drinks. No, we still owe you. We
still
still owe
waiting.
you.
Still waiting. You know what's crazy? You know, you look at the statistical side of it, and I'll be brief and I'll be quick. Drew Brees has 80,000 yards.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has 79,000 yards. Uncle Tom will be the best. But it's a name I want to leave you guys with. If you get a chance, look him up, Damon Allen. Damon Allen played in Canada. This is Marcus Allen's brother. He had one of the best careers as a quarterback. Not just, you know, you speak about, and I played against him, and I will be honest, he was the Michael Vick of the Canadian League. He's the best quarterback I've ever seen with my 2 eyes. I'm not joking. Excuse me?
Damon Allen?
Damon Allen.
Never heard of this
We'll
guy.
have to look. Maybe
Please
he'll
look
be in
him
our
up.
next
Yeah.
segment. Or
Please
our
look
next
him up.
show.
Yes.
And the CFL is the reason Warren Moon got in. if you ask me.
Exactly. 5 championships in
You know.
Edmonton, you
He-
know. But
If it wasn't for his CFL numbers, I don't think Warren Moon would be in there.
Right.
and they counted his CFL numbers.
Yeah.
And that's what got me because Damon Allen, prior to Drew Brees, Damon Allen had the highest passing rating
Yeah.
and yardage.
But it's the
in
NFL
football.
Hall of Fame, right?
It's the NFL
NFL.
Hall of Fame. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
And he didn't play in NFL at all. Yeah. So,
I don't think he didn't want to, but check his record. Check his
will.
yardage.
Check it out. We'll check it out.
I will.
Well, speaking of checking it out, we got to move on to sponsorships. And yes, today I am prepared, Jackie.
You prepared?
I'm prepared.
Are you prepared?
I'm prepared. You're prepared.
Who's
Your
doing
little
it?
your name is in this little box. You see that little box? See it? See it? Because, you know, for those of you, if you're just tuning in to us, we have this running thing that there's nobody in the sponsorship box as far as telling. Not we have sponsors, but telling about the sponsors. But today, Jackie, you're in the box. So you can't say nothing. And we've got an exciting thing to talk about.
Absolutely.
And my hat is part of that.
Absolutely. So for those joining the show, for those who understand what we're doing, October the 3rd, Jessica is rocking it. We have the Fedoras and Jordans networking event. It's going to be October the 3rd. It's going to be a share space. So please, please, please come out, support. We're going to have entertainment. We're going to have an opportunity for you to meet, mingle, have just the time of your life, but also get your business out there. Come in, have a great time. Please bring your Fedoras and your Jordans. It's going to be a great, great venue. We have some celebrity singers coming. That's Jessica's thing. So, Jason,
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Yep, Jason Martin.
Okay, Jason Martin. So I want to make sure that we do that. We have, once again, some of our sponsors with Dreams Organic, Paint Sticks, Get Busy Living. So once again, please come out, support, come have an opportunity to get your business out there just a little bit more in circles with good people.
And dare we say, you get to meet this guy right here.
I'm not sure how to take that. I'm not sure how to take that. I'm going with this.
Got him! Got him!
So there's that.
Yes.
There's
yes,
that.
Yes.
I'm excited though. I'm hyped
I
up.
am.
That's why I had to rock the fedora today. I was like, this is
Right.
pre-gaming,
Nice. I like
getting
it.
it ready.
Right.
Getting it
She
ready.
pre-gamed us without telling us about the
I
pre-game.
know. I'm sorry. I really didn't think about it. I'm sorry. Next time,
Yes, things.
we'll mix it up.
Thank you.
Well, now it's time for the exciting and I'm ready. I'm waiting. See what's up.
Hey, just say,
That's
hey,
it.
just say, juice. You know you got that juice. You know you got that
Juice.
Oh.
I love it.
Oh, I mean, we finally did it. And we did it in 2 weeks. Didn't I say 2 weeks ago? So
That's what we said.
So
You
we
did.
did it.
That's
we
what
did
we
it.
said.
Okay.
So
I'm
we
proud.
got it.
I'm proud. All right. So here's what we got today. I'm going to be real with y'all. The news is not that juicy in Jess's juice this week. It just isn't, because, some weeks you're going to have, they're trying to look for things to talk about with sports
Okay.
celebrities this weekend.
Yep.
So I'm going to tell y'all, it ain't the best, it ain't the worst. But, we're going to work with it.
We got
So,
juice.
because
Squeeze
sometimes
it.
it's juicier.
Squeeze that juice out of there, man. Squeeze
I'm
it.
squeezing it. So Coach Andy Reid, this is kind of a cute story. He was talking about Patrick Mahomes. He has a new baby, in case you don't know.
Yep.
And he says he will be there when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Literally.
He said because he's teaching him to change his baby's diapers, which I thought was so cute. I like Coach Reid. As a person, at least what I
Definitely
see
player's
of him,
coach.
I've always respected him. So I thought it was cute. He has 5 kids himself.
Yeah.
He's knows this like the back of his hand. So I thought that was just cute between a coach and a player to have like that back and forth banter and relationship. To be like,
I mean, you can make light of that, but that we're talking about a 21, 20-year-old, 22-year-old kid. This is his first kid.
Yeah.
And you're an NFL player, and you're a quarterback. So
the top.
75% of his time is spent at that facility, not with his family.
All right.
So it's a lot of things that he's going to miss out on, being a quarterback. So I like Andy Reid reaching out and sort of doing that. It shows that he's aware and sensitive to the situation.
definitely
I
like
it.
family.
You're a new dad, right? So, yeah,
Family.
I like it.
I do too. I think it's cool that he's, like you said, Jackie, let's just be real. A lot of coaches, players, their families kind of get pushed to the side. They're not even a factor. But
Yeah.
it's almost like he's very.
That's Troy. That's Troy.
Troy, what? Troy did that?
What'd I do?
No.
No, you said, but like you said, Jackie. I hadn't said anything. That's Troy.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. See, y'all
It's all
just
good.
interchangeable.
That's fine.
You're right.
She
Okay.
does it all the time. I don't say anything.
So, yeah. So I just think I respect it too, Troy, that he's taken the time.
I like it.
So, Jackie,
Yes, ma'am.
what do you have to say about this?
I love it.
Changing situation. How about you? Are you good at changing diapers? Because it wasn't so long ago you was changing diapers.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. When I had my first daughter, I did not realize I had a gag reflex to poop. Like horrible.
Yeah.
Like death. It was horrible, man. Like, and it's funny because at that time I was married, and she really thought I was joking, and I wasn't. Like, nothing else bothers me but throw up. No, not even throw up. Poop.
Mhm.
Poop and snot. That bothers me. But the poop, I would just be like,
It's your own baby's
I
poop.
didn't care. I couldn't get past it. I don't know what it was, but I just,
She
man.
probably thought you were just trying to make an excuse not
And
to
I
change
wasn't.
diapers.
But when your eyes get watery and all
Uh-huh.
that, no, that was real. It
Yeah.
was real. But for Andy Reid, he's always been a player's coach.
Yes.
Always,
yes.
and that just goes to his testament of who he really, really is. Because it's not about the business; it's about the family.
Mm-hmm.
And like as Troy stated, for Mahomes, I know his family's problem in his life, and even with his fiance now, I don't know if they're married yet.
I don't think they are. I
yeah.
think it is his fiance.
He did propose, last year before, but just to know, like, man, you got that support. That's major.
I agree.
'Cause
I agree.
For his contract, he's gonna be in Kansas City for a long time.
Uh-huh.
So they gonna see his daughter, basically be raised in that environment.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, so T. Higgins, I don't know if y'all heard this story.
Yeah.
He's like, I am done with number 85.
Yeah.
He's wearing that the rest of the season, and he's done.
done.
He's done. And the reason is he's tired of getting compared to Ocho Cinco. He's tired of it. He's like, no more. I don't want to be compared to Chad.
I don't blame him. You see a lot of, what is it, Ocho Cinco 2.0?
Yeah.
When we're talking about Higgins, so I don't blame him.
Yeah.
He wants his own identity.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, when you're an athlete or a actor or a singer, you are going to get compared to somebody else that's an actor, singer, or athlete.
Yep.
When you're in the public eye. So I don't know. There's two ways of looking at it. You could either look at it as like it's a compliment, or like you said, like you're taking away from me. Because I've heard some celebrities say they don't mind because they know that they're going to get compared, and it's a compliment. But he, like you said, he's done.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'll forget the compliments. Just give me my
I
own
think
number.
at one point he said if he scores 10 touchdowns, he'll change his number.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said at first.
Oh, okay.
But I think after week 1, he got the sense that he's not going to make it to 10 touchdowns.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be
Bruh.
tough.
It's gonna be tough.
But but I think he's going ahead and say he's changing number 5 next year.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have some goals. We'd
Yeah.
have some goals. You got to have some
Yeah.
goals. So, yeah, he's done with that.
When I first heard, I thought it was like some beef or something like that. But
Right.
I don't think he's trying to take away from
No.
Chad Johnson. He's just, I'm my own man.
Yeah, he's
I
done.
respect it.
I look at it two ways. It's like you said, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But if I'm Cincinnati, to me, Chad Johnson's number should be retired.
Probably.
Shouldn't even be available.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
To
point.
me, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, you give him, because he was the best thing to come through there. Now you got your guy AJ Green that came through, but it was injuries. But Chad Johnson
He's at the top.
he's at the top. He was at the top.
Wide receivers
You know,
for the Bengals, he's at the top.
that's what I'm saying. So for me, I don't even know why the number's still available. Personally, so you don't have this problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
And with T. Higgins being young, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't know about, the Chad Ochocinco aura, or the dual person his persona. But hell, I'm like you, Jessica, that's a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was amazing talent, and he's coming in as an amazing talent. He's big, he's fast, he's physical. They said he came in camp, showing these traits, and I mean, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I do understand him wanting to make his own path, but in making your own path, just make it.
Yeah.
So
You
let
speak for
your
yourself.
play, let your play speak
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, anyways, no more 85 after this season. We'll see what he picks. What's his number? So
He wore
5.
85 for a reason.
5.
there you go.
I'm willing to bet you that.
He's going to pick 5?
Yeah, he said he's changed the number to 5.
Oh,
That's what
I
he
didn't
wore.
even
That's what
see
he wore
that
in
part.
college.
Yeah.
That's what 5.
Okay. Okay. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, Conor McGregor, this dude, let me tell you about this guy. I don't even follow him like that. So I have to say this though. My daughter, she's a grown woman. So I'm telling her the stories, and she's like, "You didn't see this?" I mean, I had seen it, but she was like, "You don't follow him on I'm like, "No, I don't follow him on social media." She's like, "Oh yeah, Mom, he's always starting stuff. He's always in the mix." I mean, I've seen the big stuff he played out, but she said apparently like he's always like instigating, doing something. So he's back in the news again because at the VMAs, which just happened last week, I don't know if y'all checked it out or any clips. This dude decides to get into it with Machine Gun Kelly. And
Didn't even know who he was.
I like Machine Gun Kelly. Like, if you watch Machine Gun
Yeah.
Kelly, he's so at least on screen. You don't never know. But, like, he's this sweet guy. I've watched his interviews so many times. How you going to fight with Machine Gun Kelly?
I mean, I don't know. If you listen to MGK's music, so if you listen to his music and then you see him in person, you like, they
Doesn't add up.
It doesn't go together.
Right.
You listen to his music, you might think he's about that McGregor life.
Right.
But
right,
when faced
right.
with it in reality, I didn't see the altercation with
The pictures, so
McGregor.
Troy, the pictures, it's stills.
Yeah.
It wasn't but he's literally going out there like this. And correct me if I'm wrong. If because my grandfather was a boxer, you can get in trouble. That's like a felony, isn't it? If you go after someone as a boxer. So in my mind, I'm like, you are being filmed. This is behind scenes at the VMAs. There's pictures all over of it. And just the fact that his fist is like out, and if he were to touch him, that's what they call deadly weapon. It's assault with a deadly weapon. Yeah. I'm just like, bro.
He just wants to stay relevant, man. You know,
that's what my daughter said. She was like, he just wants to stay in the news. And so, anyways.
You kind of caught in a rock between a hard place because, you know, you're there at the VMAs with your lady. You know, he dates Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, you there, he throwing drinks. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, he actually threw a drink on him. Like, come on, Conor. So 2 things are happening. Troy said it. You said it. It's attention, but I think his eggs are scrambled too. You know? Like, seriously, like it's a cry for help.
How we were talking last week about
it's a cry for help because I'm like, you just come off an injury, you know, ankle broken. You can't fight yet. Hopefully you had successful surgery. You're out in the VMAs, and you mistakenly think this is this person who it's not. Psh, psh, and then you start to run. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man.
What are we doing?
I don't know, man.
Like, what are we doing?
I would say I'm glad that Machine Gun Kelly didn't respond. I'm not saying he can beat him, but if he'd have had some security, which you probably don't take security to those events, but you had security that jumped on his ass, then what?
He looks so confused. Poor guy. Like, if you see the still, Megan's like trying being the girlfriend who's like, okay, you know, and he looks so lost and confused. Like, what is going on?
I don't know.
So,
Scrambled
anyways,
eggs,
he just need to stick to boxing in the ring, not in the streets.
Scrambled eggs.
I mean, we talked about that last week. It may be him seeing the end.
That is. Because even Dana White said it.
He sees the end and doesn't know what to do.
But he's rich. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
he's still rich from the Floyd Mayweather. He made a lot of money from that fight. Go home, man. Go home. Drink your whiskey, tend to your family, and get those eggs off the stove.
Some people,
but you've even said it, Jackie, so many times. You guys have said, like the money isn't it. They want that.
But when you start making mistakes like this, like that's huge. Because that could have really been something else that didn't have to happen.
Yeah.
Now you're embarrassing yourself, your family, the sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's public scrutiny.
It is.
How do you come back from that?
So, you know, Conor, if you're watching, get it together, okay? Cool. You don't need to be in the streets acting up.
Holla at Dave Chappelle, man. Learn how to disappear for a while.
Yeah, this is true.
Just fall off the map for a while, man.
Well, let's move on to some positive news. One of my most favorite segments in our show. Our HV, and we got to get you some music too. I've said this. I don't know what we could play, but we're gonna get something. I want the drums. That only made sense.
We're gonna get
the drums.
We're gonna get one of these HBCU band.
Yeah.
But in the meantime,
fight song or something. Or Trigger Man.
Trigger Man. That's just a bounce.
CJ almost.
All right, it's time for HBCU highlights.
So, and I don't know if this is a positive thing or not, but I wanted to talk about. So Jackson State played University of Louisiana Monroe yesterday. Don't know if you got to watch the game, but it was a great game. It was competitive.
To the end.
To the end. Mm-hmm. My personal opinion, I feel like Jackson State was really in control of that game. Overall, I feel like they had the better team.
Made a lot of mistakes.
Yes. Defensively, they kept them out of the end zone the entire game.
Yes.
If not for ULM's kicker, they would have been shut out.
Exactly.
And looking at ULM, like, they're not a very good team. They're not good.
Right.
Their kicker may wind up being the MVP of that team when the season's over with. But Deion talked about HBCUs playing against these bigger programs for a payday. And a lot of schools do it. I mean, Southern University did it just a couple of years ago when got the head kicked in by Georgia.
Correct.
And unfortunately, in that game, Devin Gales winds up getting injured, paralyzed. Never something that you want to see as a result of a football game.
Correct.
I understand the need for these paydays because in a lot of situations at these HBCUs, you need this money to fund your athletic program, not just to fund the football team, to fund the whole damn program.
Right.
Yep.
So I understand the need for it. What I don't like, I do not like seeing these complete. Grambling wouldn't play U of H yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Got destroyed, 45-0. Could have been 75-0.
Mm-hmm.
I understand going play these payday games, but let's try to select some games where you can actually go compete,
Mm-hmm.
which is what Jackson State did yesterday. They went into this knowing we're about to go make $300,000-$400,000 for playing this game, but we're going here to win.
Correct.
We're walking into this stadium with the mindset that we're going to win this game, as opposed to we're walking into this stadium and I hope we leave out of here with no injuries. I don't know what it does for you for an HBCU to go play a Power 5 school. What is it doing for your morale? Is this making you a better football team? Like, what is the purpose of going and play these games other than a payday? There are other ways to make a payday where you don't have to just destroy the mentality of your football team.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the fact that Jackson State went out and they competed against ULM. Again, ULM they're not good, period. When it comes to FBS ball, they're down there with New Mexico State. They're not very good at all. But it was a competitive game. I like the environment. I think it was good for ULM. They probably had more fans in their stadium Saturday than they've had in the past 10 years.
Correct.
Because HBCUs do have a following. So I think there's incentive for some of these smaller FBS programs to go compete against HBCUs. But the downside for them is, what if we lose?
Mm-hmm.
So I it's difficult weighing the two, trying to find a competitive opponent that's willing to come play an HBCU, because again, what are they gaining if they lose?
Correct.
So I understand it's difficult, but I hate to see. I mean, Southern's supposed to play LSU here in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of that. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, and I know a lot of people from my hometown can't wait to see that. I don't want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's benefiting anyone to have that game. I didn't like Southern going to play Georgia. I don't like the fact that Grambling went and played U of H last week. And those are just a few examples. But again, people can talk all the trash they want about what Deion Sanders is doing, but Deion Sanders is building a bully in Jackson, Mississippi, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I like everything that he's done with his program up to this point. And I like his mindset and his mentality when it comes to these big payday games. I understand the necessity, but you can offer your kids more competitive environment, because it's dangerous sending your kids out there against a bunch of future NFL players.
No, you bring up a good point about the health aspect of it. That's something. It's because that affects your life forever.
It's a brutal sport, man.
It is, and
It's a brutal sport.
It wears and tears on you regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, to minimize, I think you're saying it's almost like the opposite. They're kind of maximizing the opportunities to get hurt.
As opposed to competing. Are we getting better? So, I mean, as a player who went to an HBCU, in the back of your mind, yeah, you want to go compete against the best. Like, I wonder how we do if we went and played X, Y, and Z. But, at some point, someone has to come in and say, this is not right. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we fix it. But somewhere down the line, man, we have to find other ways to make money at these HBCUs.
What's your take, Jackie?
Once again, torn. I'm always torn because, like you stated, I know what Deion's doing. He's right, because as Troy stated, like when we were in school, in my whole collegiate career, I mean, I only lost 5 games. We went 10-1, 11-0, and like 7-3, something like that. That was because I only played 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So one year we were actually supposed to play Colorado State. They were undefeated. We were undefeated.
Go Colorado State.
It didn't happen. The game didn't happen. But it's so many things. Like that's a conversation for another day. But to stick to what he's saying, I appreciate the fact that we can compete. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing he wants to say. We're just not going to accept a check.
Yeah.
We're going to play.
Yes.
We're going to be competitive. The only thing that we spoke about just a few weeks ago is the depth. It's the depth of the other teams.
Exactly.
When we were in college, we wanted to play LSU. We felt like we were just as talented. It's just the depth. You have 3, 4, 5 teams when you go to those schools. They have 120 people on the sideline.
Yes.
Dressed out. Mm-hmm. So if you go after our second team, that's as far as we could go depth-wise.
Yeah.
You can spot here and there, but that's it. But if they're put in their third team, they may not be that good, but they'll wear you down. Then they put in their second team. Then you get to their ones, you gassed out.
Yeah.
So I understood it happened to us when we played against U of H when I was coaching at Southern. And the gentleman who's a quarterback, I forgot his name, was the highest rated quarterback percentage-wise in the country. In the first half, sounds crazy, they had us down 17-3. We lost 7 starters that game. The game ended up being like 45-3 or 10, something like that. We got mauled.
Yep.
But third quarter, they took out all their starters. You can't. It's just a different depth.
Yep.
That's all it is. It's not the talent-wise
Yeah.
because, as he said, skills-wise, we'll always compete at the HBCUs because that's what we're known for. But it becomes the depth. And like you said, the care of the players. And to me, what Deion is doing with his team and what he's doing for that universities, he's building so much confidence in them.
Yeah.
And he's showing them, hey, you're capable of this. And that alone can take those young men so much further. So I like it.
Yeah, I'm with it. And like Troy said, I don't know. We're all going to have to sit on that and see what the answer is.
Yeah.
It's hard.
You have to find competitive matchups, man.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson State is a good football team. They're not competing against any SEC school.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that. Deion knows that, and that's not. I mean, he's not going to put his team in that situation. We can go play an FBS school that doesn't have the depth of a UGA or Alabama, and we can still compete. And he proved that on Saturday, man. But these Division I, they have 85 scholarship players, 20-something walk-ons. Right. The depth is unmatched, compared to what you see at an HBCU.
Yep.
I mean, my last year playing college football, we had like 7 offensive linemen, literally. So you lose one of those. I mean, your whole depth chart is thrown out of whack for the rest of the season, man. Like Jack, you lose 7 guys in one football game.
One game.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
7 starters. We lost 7
That's
starters.
a lot, man. That's a
I
lot.
lost 4 people in the secondary. We had lost 2 D linemen.
That's no joke.
No.
Like, that's nothing to
a
play
lot,
around with.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to see how it plays out and see. Like you said, it's about I think they're going to have to find ways to bring in the money outside of that.
Yeah.
That's to me how I see it.
Yeah.
So we're moving on. In our last segment, Jackie's going to talk about a head coach.
Absolutely.
Got a head coach story.
Yes.
And it's funny because the segue with Deion, being the head coach of Jackson State, we have a young man by the name of Dante Williams, at USC, and USC got rid of their coach, last week, just didn't have a good showing. So Dante Williams is the first ever Black head coach of USC. So I'm sorry, I gotta get some applause.
Yeah,
for that.
give
I gotta
it.
get some
Give
applause for
it.
that. Gotta get some applause for that. So in doing that, he comes in, and mind you, Dante Williams, he's been touted as one of the top recruiters in college football. So to know his pedigree, for that AD or whoever else to say, you know what, this is our guy, because he probably recruited half the guys that are there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he knows the talent, he knows their mindset, he knows what they can do, but also they know what they're going to get from him. So for him to be in the position, and he made a decision in his last game, and it was very, very pivotal. They're playing against Washington. I want to say it was Washington State, and he has a veteran quarterback. Veteran quarterback gets hurt. He brings in a true freshman quarterback, Jackson Dart. And right before halftime, it's 4th and 9, and he says, I believe you. That he makes a play call where he tells that young guy, I believe you. And they were losing 14-0 going into the half. The young guy puts it on his back. They convert. They go score before the half. The third quarter, they come back and put 28 over them in the third quarter. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, to me, for him, I applaud it because, one, no one believed he could do it. And I looked at it twofold because it's almost like, is he going to succeed?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if he doesn't succeed, it's expected.
Yep.
Right.
But if he does succeed, oh, shit.
Yep.
Right. Watch out.
It's a problem.
That's a problem.
It's a problem because now
You can't get rid of him.
you can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
He's been a mainstay there. He's been one of the top recruiters, and he's coached some pretty good talent.
Yeah.
You see, and so if you look back at his career since 2007, he was at a JC, Los Angeles Harbor, El Camino. He's been at Mount San Antonio. He's a California person who stayed on that West Coast who has a footprint in the state, and that means everything when you're recruiting. He goes to Washington, he goes to San Jose State, he goes to Arizona, he goes to Nebraska, he goes to Oregon, then he comes back to USC.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in doing that, for me, that is so powerful because he's made the ranks. And for him to go into that game and to say, hey, guys, I need you to trust me as I trust you. So for these young players, and you see that, and then his team rallied around him, like USC they're going to have to make a decision after that. If he continues with the success, if he continues and they support him, and if his team wins, they're going to have to make a decision. I just hope they make the right decision and giving him a fair opportunity. The same thing they did with Ed Ogeron when he was the interim, the same thing they've done with these other coaches when they're interim. If he does it the right way and continues to win, give it to him.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
yeah.
They're looking for a coach right now.
They're looking for a coach.
They're actively looking
Lane
for a coach
Kiffin,
right now.
Lane Kiffin, all these guys are in the
running
list.
through
But,
names.
but give him the opportunity.
I'm with you. All about it.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, sadly, it's about that time. We got to sign off. And, also, I'm hungry. I'm just saying.
It's lunchtime, almost.
Bruh.
When a woman's hungry, it's like ain't nothing else matter at that point. I mean, I love our show.
I don't fight with that. I don't fight with that.
Well, thank you.
Hangry.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you for joining us. This is Culturally Distinct Sports. Tune in.